ain't have nothing to do with me nor Kurt. Them bitches was coming at you about your because they had too much ammo for you.
Don't act like you didn't say that.
I wasn't there. Now, damn sure ain't gonna come to somebody about they.
It was clear that the environment was tense. The popular reality program was supposed to be taping as usual, but beneath the surface, a storm was brewing. Even though the crew was there, the lights were bright and the cameras were rolling. But to Yandy and Rasheeda, everything else appeared to be lost in the background, and they found themselves alone in a long brewing fight. Although Yandy was always a resilient lady, tonight the burden of the she had always been the focus of their drama. But it had never been this intense or personal. And now that everything was in the public eye, it felt like everything was crumbling, challenging her composure. Though their relationship with Mendeecees had always been complicated, Rasheeda had been Yun's confidant and companion for years. Rasheeda and M's unbreakable tie was undeniable. Their common history had always simmered just below the surface, but things began to change when Mendeecees began dating Yandy. After initially attempting to be encouraging, Rasheeda eventually started to question M's allegiance and the choices he was making. Rasheeda's comments pierced the air with a sharp and cutting edge, and Yandy could feel the heat rising in her chest as the cameras began to film every second. This wasn't just the usual taunting or the jovial banter that had defined their friendship was real. Rasheeda had grown more and more disdainful of Minnie's choices over time, and she wasn't holding back now. Rather, it seemed like Yandy was the target of every look and comment, as if her relationship with Minnie were a personal betrayal of some kind. "Will you actually sit here and support him, Yandy?" When Rasheeda said, "You are still going to act like he's your king in shining armor after everything he's done," she was speaking incredulously. Yun's blood was rushing, but she held. She knew now was not the moment to let her emotions run wild, but she forced herself to control them. Rasheeda appeared to be attacking her, questioning her judgment, her choices, and everything that had led her to this moment. "Why do you have anything to say about so many things?" Rasheeda had never shied away from criticizing M's flaws and holding him responsible for their problems. Yun made several very good points, but her voice trembled with the anguish and frustration she had been holding inside. "It is my responsibility to cope with his mistakes, baggage, and past. Don't sit here and pretend you know what's best for me. This connection has been yours for far too long." "Spilt!" Yandy cried out. Rasheeda rolled her eyes and smiled, but Yandy was not finished yet. She had had enough, but with her life on the line, this was no time to back down. "Even though you've always had your own views, you've been watching from the sidelines and criticizing both him and me. Has never found themselves in our shoes. You're acting like you know all the answers, but you don't know what we've been through or what I've had to forgive," Yandy exclaimed, her voice growing louder with each word. The two women were in a state of electric tension. The climate of open hostility and unresolved issues, a long simmering animosity and unspoken jealousy had been fueled by Rasheeda's presence in M's life. "I wasn't the only one anymore." Always placed a negative light on Yandy's relationship with him. The visage of Rasheeda, she shot back, her eyes narrowing in rage. "You think you're the only one who's had to deal with this mess. You don't think I understand what it's like to be with someone who is constantly making mistakes. He has also caused us both pain, and I'm sick of you acting as though he has changed. You are allowing him to pull you down, Yandy." The words felt, for a split second, like a smack across Yandy's face. Because of the cameras and the world watching, she wanted to lash out and shout at Rasheeda for all the pain she had caused, but she refused to let anyone enjoy seeing her break inside. Rather, it appeared as though everything was falling apart. The mistake of N, who had worked so hard to keep everything together, but Rasheeda's constant interference and the chaos that had always been around them made it feel like the dam was about to break today. They began to argue, and their voices grew increasingly hostile. Amidst the allegations, the crew stood by, uncertain of how to intervene, aware that they were witnessing a relationship unravel, a battle for dominance and respect that had been brewing for years, and that there was ultimately no obvious solution to end the dispute. Yandy leaped out, furious and exhausted, while the real battle had just begun for Yandy. but the cameras kept capturing the aftermath as Rashid's anger simmered beneath the surface. It was about determining how to handle the disaster that had become her life and if she could trust anyone, including herself, once more. It wasn't only about M's or Rasheeda's. It seems like Yandy may have given up on trying to keep her family together, and there are rumors that Mendeecees is sick of calling her his wife and has finally came back to his lifelong love, Erica. This problem is getting rather ugly, to be honest. Some people even say that they might have been married. Yandy's pride is the only thing that has kept her in her marriage, and now that Mendeecees has moved in with Erica, it seems like she has lost all self-control. Yandy is scolding me for offending her, but she's also making it very evident that Erica needs to break up with her partner as soon as they meet. If you are unfamiliar with this tea, take a seat and let me explain. After spending time for drug-related offenses, Mendeecees was released from jail earlier this year. Yandy managed everything by herself with Mendeecees' help while he was in prison, doing everything she could to keep the family strong and together. We all thought Yandy would be able to enjoy her marriage since she had put in so much work and sacrifice while he was incarcerated. Effort to fix their marital issues, such as going to treatment, but as they say, once a cheater, always a cheater. If you missed it, Mendeecees decided to ignore Yandy's toughest rival, Erica, instead of repaying Yandy for keeping the family together. Erica and Yandy have been at odds for years, and it's clear that Mendeecees' unwillingness to set boundaries with Erica is the cause. Mendeecees created a triangle. Yandy has spent a lot of time living in denial about the status of her marriage. Although she is aware that Mendeecees hasn't been entirely honest with her and is still seeing Erica, her conceit and haughtiness lead her to believe she is the only woman in his life. She's really good at pretending that everything is all right, but we all know that's not always the case. Before Yandy came into the picture, Erica was already with M. Show my sincere concern for his first baby mama, Erica. Mendeecees wanted someone stable and affectionate to be around when things weren't going well. Erica was one of the few women he really loved, Samantha revealed. Erica herself disclosed that she and MSC had previously shared a home, traveled together, had identical passports, and had even met his whole family. She remained loyal to him and even assisted in taking care of his first child while Samantha was away. A good plan for the future. Even after getting married to Yandy, Mendeecees kept in touch with Erica. There are claims that he left Yandy and moved out of their house to begin a new relationship with Erica now that he is free from prison and has a solid income. To be honest, I don't think Yandy deserves the punishment she's getting from Mendeecees because she stabilized him, solved all of his issues, and became involved in baby mama drama. Without hesitation, he informed her that his reason for being married was responsibility rather than love. He further admitted that if their roles had been reversed, he would never have stood by her side or supported the family the way she did for him. She worked hard to raise his kids while putting up with the rudeness of MC's mother.
Nothing to do with me nor Kurt. Them bitches was coming at you about your because they had too much ammo for you.
Don't act like you didn't say that.
I wasn't there. I damn sure ain't gonna come to somebody about they.
Mendy went to his mother, Judy, because he felt that something needed to be done. Judy unrepentantly justified her actions by saying that she had been provoked. But Mendy was certain that Judy had gone too far, so he said to her, "I love you, but I can't let this continue." Even though he understood his decision and had to prioritize his family's safety and stability before allowing Judy to stay in his care, he requested her to go, making it clear that respect was not negotiable. House Judy, furious, believed the transfer would serve as a wake-up call, despite the fact that she felt deceived. When Judy went, she had to adjust her methods, which caused emotional pain for the family. Yandy spoke to her close friends about the altercation and voiced her unhappiness with the ongoing animosity towards Judy for the mess she shared, while Mendy displayed considerable guilt despite maintaining his position. "I've always made an effort to sort things out, but I can't put up with this disrespect in my own house anymore." Despite his affection for his mother, he confided in a close friend that he couldn't allow her to harm the person he had decided to live out the rest of his days with. He began to wonder if there was any other way he might have handled the matter. But because Judy felt cut off from her kid and thought Yandy was just playing a game, she went to her own support network to let out her frustration and rage. "I raised him. How can he choose me over him?" she said, sobbing. Judy and Yandy's. This dramatic event has further complicated the Harris family's ongoing saga by emphasizing how difficult it can be to strike a balance in a mixed family between love, loyalty, and respect. The final cast of Love, Hip Hop was also impacted by the turmoil, in addition to their personal relatives. Other Atlanta cast members offered their opinions, with some recognizing Judy's viewpoint as a mother who feels excluded and others endorsing Yandy. Fans were curious to see if Judy and Yandy would get back together or drift apart over the course of the season. Because of the ongoing problems that seemed to afflict the household, some were doubtful, while others hoped to see moments of recovery. Without a doubt, the drama in this house is far from ended, and many people believe that Yandy and Judy's future will not be simple because of the persistent issues. They traversed the challenging landscape of love, devotion, and familial responsibilities for years. MC Harris and Yandy Smith are the epitome of a strong, cohesive couple on Love and Hip Hop New York. The two remained committed to one another as they navigated the muddy seas of fame, family, and scrutiny, earning accolades for their love in spite of a lot of challenges, including MC's legal troubles and a lengthy jail sentence. But as is often the case in the entertainment sector, despite the fact that appearances can be deceiving, their seemingly ideal relationship had flaws that appeared to have grown into a chasm following M's disclosure. When M's made enigmatic messages on social media suggesting that everything was amiss in his marriage, it was the first sign that something was amiss. Although fans speculated about the significance of his posts, nobody could have foreseen the impending storm. Everyone was shocked by a video that Mendeecees released a few days later. Mendeecees allegedly that Yandy and Carlos King, a producer well known for his work on hit reality TV series, have a tight working relationship, but MC asserts that their bond extends much beyond their work. MC presented copies of emails and texts he said were between Yandy and Carlos, demonstrating how serious his claims were. He'd asserted that these letters, which included expressions like "I can't stop thinking about you and our relationship," demonstrated a degree of personal intimacy that goes beyond professional bounds. Imagination is limited when spending time together, which stokes the fire. Furthermore, M showed other images he said were taken during private meetings between Yandy and Carlos, but some argued the images might be of innocent guys. C's perception painted a distinct picture. In response to these accusations, Yandy denied any wrongdoing and expressed her sadness about DC's choice to disclose their private issues in a live-stream video. Although she vehemently denied that she and Carlos King had a romantic friendship, she did openly admit that they were close. Carlos has been a mentor and friend. Despite her denials, Yandy said that taking our professional relationship and making it into something it isn't is unpleasant and unfair. As Yandy's tone suggested, "I've always stood with MDs through everything, so to be accused in this way feels like a breach of the trust we've built as the claims gain traction." Carlos King broke his silence and denied having an inappropriate relationship with Yandy in a well-written statement. "My relationship with Yandy has always been professional," he stated. Carlos claims that these charges are baseless and without merit. Additionally, Carlos stated, "I've known Yandy for years and have always appreciated her as a friend and professional. I'm hoping Yandy can settle this in private," and many notices. Being dragged into a marital dispute disappointed him. The consequences of these charges have extended in addition to MDC and Yandy's romance. Their children, who have made multiple appearances on Love and Hip Hop, are the subject of a media frenzy right now. While some friends and relatives have encouraged the couple to get help, others have suggested that they do so. Supporters of the pair are divided. Some argue that Yandy should be given the benefit of the doubt because of her past support of Mendeecees during his legal battle, while others think MC's claims based on the information he provided. Problems relationships under investigation often have underlying issues, even though the specifics of this situation are unique. Fame, distance, and public attention can exacerbate existing problems and create new ones for Mendeecees and Yandy. Their current predicament has undoubtedly been exacerbated by reality TV, and social media's influence cannot be ignored when taking their worries into account. Through public forums, millions of people have been asked to remark on a highly personal matter, but this has, in addition to raising questions about the boundaries of privacy in the age of digital openness, the drama has gotten more intense. It is currently unknown what the future of N and Yandy's relationship will bring. Although they both claim that family should come first, reconciliation will be challenging. It is difficult to rebuild trust after it has been damaged, and supporters' difficulties are made much more complicated by the fact that they are publicly known. It is anticipated that Yandy will find a way to move on and that many will notice this, whether that entails providing a safe home for their children while navigating the impact from these revelations will likely take precedence, regardless of whether the couple decides to stay together or split ways amicably. It looked like a normal family dinner at first, but the fatal evening quickly turned tense. With a mix of frustration and anger, Mendeecees' son broke the silence and dropped the news. Everyone in the room remained silent as they tried to understand Yandy's statement that you are to blame for Yandy cheating on you. Everyone's attention was focused on Mendeecees and Yandy as the accusation hung heavy in the air, and they immediately refuted it. "Where is this even coming from?" she asked, her voice trembling with anger and hurt. The son continued to accuse her of betraying the family and blame me for not being a strong enough husband or parent. Even after she insisted that she maintain her composure, I tried to defuse the situation, but it persisted because I was so taken aback by his son's outrageous comments. He stood up and demanded proof for the absurd accusation, stating, "If you're going to accuse Yandy of something this serious, you better have proof." This was an attempt to manage the situation. He spoke in a relaxed but tense tone, yet the son was unthinkable. He said, "You've always been so caught up in your own issues that you couldn't even see what's been happening right under your nose." The dispute swiftly became heated. "Love this family. You've been tearing it apart, and he's too blind to see it," she said, infuriating the son. Mendy felt his authority as the head of the household was being challenged as the dispute got out of hand. Yandy was unable to control her emotions and burst into tears as anger and resentment were retaliated with emotional jabs and vague hints. Others glanced aside as Yandy gasped, and the boy, holding his face, looked at his father in disbelief at the gravity of what had just happened. The room fell silent as he physically hit his son in a moment of unrestrained wrath. "I can't believe it's come to this," Mendy said in a voice full of regret, trying to control his feelings. Yandy, still in tears, comforted him as she fought her own pain. "Never want to back down," Son declared. "I love you, but I can't let this kind of disrespect continue in my home." Son was by no means a young guy who had changed his ways. "You need time to think about what you've done," he said in a forceful yet sorrowful voice, and he made the decision to ask his son to go. "Perhaps some distance will clarify things for you." The boy, obviously injured, gathered his things and requested to go. Without saying anything further, they left. In the days following the incident, there was a great deal of worry and quiet. Yandy couldn't conceal her pain despite her support for M's decision, telling a friend, "I feel like I've lost a part of my family, and I don't know if we can ever heal from this." Additionally, VC battled his emotions, questioning aloud, "Did I do the right thing?" and turning to his closest confidants for solace. "Having to protect my wife and my home makes me feel like a bad husband and father." The father's regret was overpowering as word spread among love and hip-hop fans about the family turmoil, and he realized that repairing his relationship with his kid would be challenging. Social media was flooded with reactions from Atlantans eager to express their thoughts, ranging from support for MC's son to sadness for him. While some criticized him for employing physical force, stating that striking your son is unacceptable, another fan said that he had to do what he had to do to maintain his wife's respect. never the answer, no matter what the situation. Go to another comment. Because of the occurrence, some viewers question Yandy's role in the family dynamics. Yandy has always kept the family together, but she might not be able to handle this. According to a fan, Mendy remained dedicated to healing his damaged family, but the dispute made it more difficult for the Harris family to deal with their private sorrow in the spotlight. I can't let this become the Yandy played a crucial role in closing the distance in the interim. He shared with a buddy that he made an effort to have an open discussion after his son's absence by reaching out through shared ties. "We need to talk face to face and figure out how to move forward," he stated. "You both love each other. You just need to find a way to communicate without all the anger," she urged. As the season progresses, many notes that her ongoing support and efforts at mediation have become a ray of hope for the family. Viewers,